All right.
Hi, everybody. We're live. Welcome. Welcome,
Hi.
everybody. We got some great guests with us today. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Aley.
Welcome to the Dream Detectives with Kate and Aley on Heart and Soul Connected. And today we have beautiful Angela from Cartomancy, Mesquite with us. And the handsome debonair Craig Dixon is with us today, too. Look at that. Absolutely. In his
Oh, yeah.
debut on television. Yes.
Oh,
Welcome, welcome.
well, thank you.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
don't, it's the rules of etiquette here. No dirty words and no picking your nose.
At least if you pick your nose, do it down here.
I didn't know.
Oops,
But,
what fell off?
all
Yeah.
right, all sorts of funky things have been going on. And whoops, ladies, oh, there goes the makeup, man. Well, all right, now I'm back. Let me see. Yeah, I'm just nervous. So if the air conditioner kicks on, I hope it doesn't interrupt what's going on. But yeah, what had happened was about Milu got me into all this, and that's where I started asking questions to different people. And Milu was always just a good guy. And I asked him, "How's it going to go tomorrow with Aley?" And he says, "You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just go ahead and go on it." I see you laughing. So I said, "Okay." And everybody has questions down then. So, but what had happened was my mom passed away back in August of last year. And when she passed, I sat there depressed in my living room, and I was watching an old Clara Bow movie. And I go, she always cheers me up. So if I watch that, maybe I'll deal with tomorrow a little bit better. So I said,
Mhm.
"Angels and guides." I said a little prayer, "Angels and guides, please come before him to help me in this. I'm alone right now, and my mom is gone, and I don't know how to handle this. And it started working after that. My cousin Loretta, she's a medium. She came into my house to check on me and see if I was eating and taking care of myself. And she came in, did a quick inspection, and she says, "Craig, you know what? I showed her that clip of Kim's Intuitive. That's where I asked Clara to come forward. And
Uh-huh.
Clara came forward and she says, "I know who you are. I've seen you. I've been around. I've been around for a long time. I know who you are. So don't just feel confident that I'm around you," like that. And I said, "Okay." And I kind of accepted it, but I wasn't sure exactly what was going on. So I I asked my cousin. I showed her that clip on Kim's Intuitive from April of 2021, and 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 Loretta did her thing, and she says, "Clara's here right now. She's sitting on that couch right over there." And she says that
Wonderful.
she can move through time and place and stuff like that. And then I go, "Is that possible?" And this is all new to me. And she
Uh-huh.
said, "Yeah, it's all possible. She she wants you to start eating and taking care of yourself. She wants you to do this and that. She's been around you for a long time." She says that in fact, about 10 years ago, well, 20 years ago, when I was a younger man, I went through a terrible time. A night of deep dark souls, and I almost cashed in my chips. It was one of those times where I just wanted to wake up dead, and not deal with anything. So I went to the bathroom and climbed in the tub, filled it up, and didn't care. And Clara came to my house, my apartment, looked around for me. She says, "You weren't there." So I looked in the bathroom and I found you in there, and your head was going in under the water, and you were about to drown. And she goes, "I pulled your head out of the water." And I go, "Oh my God." I go, "If life is that precious, I better watch my crap.
Yep.
And I started to, I started getting scared there. And I go, "What else should she done?" Well, anytime that you were alone, she'd, let you know reassuringly that she's here and that, everything will turn out okay. And every now and then I'll feel something. I'll feel like all of a sudden I feel like a feeling of elation. Like everything's going to be clear and okay, and
Yeah.
blue skies pop in, okay. And then I said, "Is that what it is?" And she goes, "Yeah, that's what it is." I go, "What started all this?" And I go, I can remember a time when Clara said to my cousin, and my cousin translated it back to me. She says, Clara said that you beckoned me. And I go, how was that possible? And then I thought back on it, and I go, oh yeah, I did. I did. What had happened was I was watching this movie called Wings, 1927, and it was one of her silent pictures. And in the first scene there, she jumps over the. She lives next door to the main character. She jumps over the fence, and then she runs over there, and she's talking to her soon-to-be boyfriend, Buddy Rogers, in the film. And she said that in the film, she says that they're next door neighbors, and she always had a crush on him, and he's kind of like treating her like a sister. And then she helps him build a hot rod, and then and you know, that's what happens. And then the movie plays out after that. But that was the first scene, and then I was always in the cars and stuff like that, and I looked out there and I go, man, look at a little girl like that. And I kind of said that prayer to myself, and I said, God, if it's possible, please let me meet this lady Clara, and let her know that what she's done for me in my lifetime. She's always cheered me up and made me feel better. Always made blue skies come and reappear, and she's always done something for me like that. And I'm a young man, so it's keeping me awake at night too. So these things, and I was being honest.
Yeah.
And right then and there, that's when I think that everything got set into motion, because all of a sudden when she was in that scene, I recognized her. And I really had never seen her before that in my life.
Okay.
It was like, boom. It was like one of those moments where you recognize somebody.
Recognize somebody. Yeah. Soul recognition. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I was in the service of the Air Force, and I went to the hospital. I got very, very ill in way back in the old days, in the 1980s. And I went to the hospital, and my legs swelled up real bad, and my knee swelled up real bad, and then the Air Force clinic didn't know what it was. They put me in there for like about a month during Christmas time, and I was really depressed. And they couldn't find anything out at Hospital Hill in Hill Air Force Base in Utah. And then they sent me to Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center. And that's a big place. Back in the 80s, it was open, and it was a World War I hospital. It was haunted, but when I walked in there, it felt like home. It felt like everything was okay. Everything had calmed down, and I'd be okay. And then I was lying in bed. The Challenger disaster was going on, and on the screen, on the TVs there. And the TVs only had 5 channels, but that's how it was then. And I was asleep, and then I got up, and I kind of got out of bed, and then they put me in a different bed, away from the nurses' station. As you got better, they moved you further and further away from the nurses' station. And in that hospital, it was treat them and street them, get them back out to the jobs and stuff like that. So that's what the mission was. And then that morning, 2 nurses came around and introduced themselves. I don't want to mention their names because, I don't want to embarrass them or anything like that. But one was an attractive nurse, blonde hair, and another one was a lady in with curly black hair, glasses, wavy black hair, glasses, maybe about 5'3", and she was attractive, and she was giggly, and she was really cute-faced. She was acting giggly and kind of nervous. And I thought, okay, well, all right. And then as I started getting well, I started scouring the hospital, looking around, meeting people, talking to old veterans and stuff like that. And then my snack there was a peanut butter and banana sandwich. I'd go raid the refrigerator. I'd go get those. I love those peanut butter banana sandwiches, and cantaloupe cut. You can still buy that in the vending machine. So I got those 2 things. I'd sit and watch the honeymooners after the news, and that was my night, and that was my entertainment. I'd go to sleep. All was well with the world. Of course, I brushed my teeth, promised my mom. And then, I didn't think nothing of it. I slowly got well about 6 months later. I could never really get back to my job. I never really could get back to being 100% anymore. And the diagnosis came down. It was rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh,
and
wow. Yeah.
And I
Tough.
What's this going to happen? What's going to happen? So the Army doctors recommended the discharge, and I took the papers. I went home and I said, "Give me some leave, and I want to think about this. I really do." Well, it's your choice, Airman. It's your choice. And I said, okay. So I went home and I thought about it in Albuquerque and Gallup, that area, and I talked to my mom and everybody in my family, and they said, do what's best for you. So I went back and I tried to tough it out. And put more time in, but I was only aggravating my problem, and I was falling behind in my job. And so I said, I can't do it anymore. So I just took the discharge and got out about a year later. And then when I got out, it was with honor and all that. And I just said, well, I closed that part of my life to me, and that, it meant the world to me, and I have to leave it behind now and get on with my life. So this was like the early '90s or so, right after the Gulf War, and the first Gulf War, and I went back to whatever job I could find, and I didn't like them. I hated the work, but I did it anyway because you have to pay your bills and you have to do what you have to do. So I did that and couldn't find anything really. If I'd been in Los Angeles, I'd just go into acting or something, but I didn't think like that, with poor and stuff like that.
Never too late.
I play a doctor now, but not back then. But Sterling likes to say that. And, well, things were pretty bad. And then I met a girl. We got married. It was a shotgun marriage. And that's what it was, And I tried to do the honorable thing, and that didn't work out. But, with my daughter, I'm okay now. And then I found out I had grandchildren, and that made me feel a lot better. I found out that maybe about a year and a half ago. And they live in Denver, and I went up and visited them. And I felt real good about it. So it wasn't all fun. And then, but during that time of the early 2000s, I was going through a really dark period, and that's when that happened. And a couple other bad things have happened around that time too. And then I couldn't really put it all together until when my mom died, and then my cousin came in and did her reading. So she said she's scared, and she said she saw all this, play out. And she says that she knows that it will get better. You just got to believe in yourself, and you got to work at it, And she goes, if you ever need anything, just think about me. I'm only a thought away. And I go, okay. And it was kind of hard to believe, but as time played out, it proved to be true. And I said, that settled the beckoning part about it, that answered that. And I said, well, she goes, we met way back in Denver. And I go, when? And she goes, well, I took the nurse's body and I stepped in to take care of you.
Oh my.
And I go, oh my God. I go, oh my God, which nurse was that? You met me. The black curly hair with the glasses. And I remembered who she was, the one that was all blushy and acting like a teenager. And I go, that was you? And she goes, yeah, that was me.
That's cool, Craig.
Remember the peanut butter and banana sandwiches? And she goes, put those in for you.
Can I ask you a quick question, Craig?
Yes, ma'am.
So your turning point was Clara pulling you out of the tub, out of the water, and rescuing you from going under.
Yeah.
Do you believe that at that moment something shifted, something healed, something became more wonderful again as far as experiencing life and hanging around?
Slowly. It took a while because I was still going through a bad period too. And then I met that crazy girlfriend that Aley, that I bother Aley about.
But you do believe that the connection with Clara has lightened your life, has made things more whole and more beautiful, and do you have that sense of knowing that life continues beyond this part of us, where you can connect with everyone?
Yeah, I didn't know.
So beautiful.
Yeah, because I didn't know that at first until I talked to Diane, and then she said I was Palladian. And that was big. I go, whoa. I only believe in what I see. I was born in Los Angeles, at a county hospital. We were poor. And John Wesley Hospital is gone now. But that was like about 14 miles from where Clara passed away in Culver City.
Wow.
So she was very familiar with me. And then as time went on, I found out that, life is precious. And then, I found that out. So go on. But, what exactly did I sign up for? These questions that all bothered me for a while. And, Clara hung out. We watched old movies on TCM,
right.
Forty's Channel. She just loves that. So we were doing a lot of that. And then and then she would ask me for individual movies, and she must have a list of about 50 of them. So I found them on DVD, YouTube, wherever we could find them.
Wherever you could find them,
Wow.
She enjoyed them all. She enjoys a lot of the newer stars like Tom Hanks and Sam Elliott and
Oh, she has good
I wanna-
taste.
yeah,
She
and
does.
she
That's
was
good
watching Big with Tom Hanks in it, and she was laughing and having a good old time and carrying on about that one. And
Mm.
League of Their Own, there's a funny line in there where I'm going to go home and give the wife a pickle tickle, and oh my gosh, she was cracking up at that. She goes, "How can you use that?" I go, "Well, okay, all right." It's hilarious, and they
Uh-huh.
still have a sense of humor. They're still who they are and whatnot. And
Yeah.
then she talked to. I asked from time to time. I would ask her different mediums to talk to her. And she went back and did a show with Kim's Intuitive, and she explained her life more in detail. And then she went back with Diane's tarot. I said, "Bring my friend Claire up here."
Yeah.
And then boom, she appeared, and then she says she's been here since the whole read started. She got to work with me. I
She
said,
was
"Yeah,
waiting. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had strong. She's very loud and strong." So
Sure.
I said, "Does Clara know that I named my car after her?" And she goes, "Fool." She goes, "Fool, who do you think talked you into buying it?" So I
All
said,
those little nudges you thought were just you were actually
I know.
really
"Yeah,
guiding
it's
and
it's
Yeah.
angels.
learning when to differentiate between those
Right.
two.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Because
Do you
when you
see
have
that this is an interesting question we have here from Deb H
Mhm.
about what are the indigenous stories about dreams?
Oh man, there's so many of them, but during that time too, when things were going bad, I'll try to do it quickly. What had happened was I had a godfather. He's a Catholic priest, and he was my
Oh.
math teacher too. Back when I was in mid school and in Gallup, and his name was, well, I don't want to give it out his name's legal and stuff like that. But he was my godfather, and he's just a great guy, and he was kind of like a hippie. But now he's a Catholic priest, and then he became a brother and worked his way up. I guess that's how you do it.
Uh-huh.
And he was a geologist too, a man of science. So he took me on a couple of his digs. We went to a couple of places like Chaco Canyon and Morro National Monument. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, I picked something up there. 20 years later, I started getting nightmares. And I started getting night terrors, and awful things were happening to me. And I started getting bad dreams. And I went outside in the dream. I went to my back door, and looked out the window, and I saw two guys that looked like the China dolls out there. And
Oh.
all of a sudden, something came to me. One was about 20, the other one was about 40, and they were giving me some dirty looks, like we're going to kill you. And I said, "Okay." And that night, I went to sleep, and somebody was choking me. I felt choking like on my neck. And I go,
Wow.
"I can't put up with this. I can't have this." And then I'd wake up and there'd be bruises on me and stuff like this. I was afraid. And I told my uncle, and my uncle says, "That's what that is. It's related to you walk past some cliff dwelling areas. You need to leave that alone and leave it behind you."
Yeah, they don't like you touching their stuff.
No, well, they
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. No, they don't. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
violation. And I
Yeah.
didn't know that at that age. I was
Sure.
like Indiana Jones wandering around the
Yeah,
dark
I know.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
shouldn't have been doing that. And we went and had ceremonies done for it and had it reversed. And
Oh, that's good.
It took a while. It took a while. And then my mom was there praying with me, and we got everything settled, and they went their way.
Yeah.
And it cleared up after that. I never saw those guys again. And I don't want to.
That's good. That's cool.
But
Yeah.
that's the negative aspect about it. But the good
Right.
thing about it is stuff like Clara. And then as she was asking about her son, Clara asked me about her son. I go, another lady came in and talked to us, me and Clara, and she would come, and I knew Thelma Todd was one of her friends. So I asked Thelma Todd to come through, and she did, and she was very nice and stuff like that. They spoke. And her and Clara were friends, so they hung out on my couch and talked with each other while Loretta and I went outside. And it was in the middle of the wintertime. We were out there talking about Loretta's car because it wasn't running right. She wanted to do work on it. So I said, "Yeah." And I go, "Loretta, do you smell that?" And Loretta looked at me. She goes, "Yeah, I do. It smells like uh, flowers in the wintertime outside." And I go, "Wow, I wonder where it's coming from." And we looked around. Everything was dead in the area. Nothing was blooming. And I go, "That's a gift. That has to be a gift from the trees." So we went back inside, and then Thelma had finished with her friend Clara, and she went away. And then I sent another woman too. I said, "What about Virginia Rapay? She died in the fatty arbor scandal in the early 20s.
Oh, yeah.
I go,
Yeah.
"What happened there?" And then Loretta did her thing, and lo and behold, Virginia came through. And we made her feel welcome because it was August since it's here. And she goes, I like to come by now and then and listen to music that you have playing because I like that. And I go, Virginia, you know what? I can't find any of your movies. She goes, no, don't worry about that. I go, every time I try to look up your name, Virginia Rapay, Patty's name comes up, and I don't want you to see him. You don't want to see him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, I understand. I'm not concerned about the movies, just play the music. So I do. And that plays all the time in the house.
Cool.
So, so it's Sirius XM. It's a lifetime subscription. I let that run all day long.
Yeah.
40s, 50s, 60s, Elvis.
It's nice. I have it too. Yeah.
Clara loves
Yeah.
Elvis Presley.
Oh.
And she likes
So we
to
have
and she likes different things, so and just things like that. And then she asked me around Albuquerque, does this still exist? Does that still exist? Is this there? So we went out a couple of times, and I actually took her to those places. It's like, there's where it's at. I'm not hearing anything in response, but if Loretta's in the car, she can translate and she can tell me,
Yeah.
Yeah, the Alvarado Square still has the clock tower there. Well, they rebuilt it. It's not the same, but yeah, that's what it is. It's a bus program now. And I took her around and showed her a few things. She told me to go by the Turquoise Castle. So it took me a while to research that and find out where that was. She said a lady wanted to live in a castle and live there, and that's what it was. And that's what it turned into. It's an art gallery now.
Okay.
It's called the Turquoise Art Gallery in Albuquerque. So we went to see that, and she told me a little bit about it. She said she bought a painting there in 1940 and took it home back to Nevada. And so little things like that would come in, and she told me, oh yeah, Clara told me this too, stay away from certain places in Albuquerque, like Old Town, stay away from Memorial Hospital, stay away from Albuquerque High, because it's haunted, and she goes, if you see them, I don't want them following you home because you're just too darn nice. And then Diane Carroll, she told me, you're like a beacon at nighttime. When you go to bed, a light comes on and boom,
there you go.
Start flocking. And I kind of didn't believe that either because I never really been bothered except by those creeps,
Right.
And that was justifiable because I had violated that thing. But what had happened was, I set up a camera in my room, and then I got about 30 or 40 orbs coming through my room at night. And I go, oh my gosh. And I go, well, put on a light show for me, go through my hand, all those tricks like that. And I go, I can't hear you guys, but I know you're there. I'll treat you both with respect, and I'll never hurt you. And you're welcome. If you want to listen to music, that's fine too. If you want to watch a movie, that's good too. And
so a lot of what is inside the dream comes to you actually and manifests in a certain way, and you're able to interact with it. And I love that. That is so
it
awesome.
takes a while though. Like I said, I'm a student.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I don't pick up on it quickly like other mediums do.
Right.
And what had happened was Clara did ask me around Christmas time. She goes, "Can you find my son Tony?" And well, they were nicknames, so I had to go back and research their names and I found them. And I said, "Well, you know what? What if it's something depressing? Do I want to tell a mom that their son died of cancer?" I got to be very diplomatic about this. And then I got my iPad out, and it took me about a week. I said I wanted to make sure it was true. So I wanted to make sure the information was true because if I got it wrong, I didn't want to send her on the tangent and make it an accident. But I'll try. I said I'll try. And then this came because of Fatty Arbuckle. Virginia asked whatever happened to him, and I said, well, he died about 1933. He paid for his sin here on Earth. No one would give him a job, and he worked for $50 a week. After he was a big billionaire and really wanted to obstacle. So she goes, Virginia says, good, justified. And I have to believe her in that sense. So it was what it was. So Clara asked me, if you know these things, tell me about my son. So I made sure the information was true first. So I thought the best way to do that is, go ahead and call up a private investigator here in town. My lawyer has one, so I was about to do that, but it was during the Christmas holidays. They weren't in. So I guess it's up to me now. So I got on my iPad and I looked the best way I could, and I found out some things, And then I told Clara, Christmas Eve, we were sitting here and we had the Christmas tree up and stuff like that. Oh, she told me set up a Christmas tree. So I did. I went down and found one and put Christmas lights up around inside the house.
Woo! Yeah.
This year, I promised her I'd put Christmas lights up outside the house. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I have to do the work myself. So,
Yeah.
but I kind of know how to do that type of stuff.
Awesome.
So I set up the Christmas tree for her, and then she was really enjoying that, and then she got me to enjoy Christmas again because I hadn't celebrated Christmas since 1976 when my father died on that day,
Wow.
and I just took myself out of the game. And when I got my divorce and I never saw my daughter anymore, I didn't want to celebrate Christmas. It hurt too much.
Sure.
And then I reestablished that contact, and then my dad came through. But that's a little bit later on in the story. And then, but Clara asked me for these verifications, so I did the work. And then on Christmas Eve, I had the information for it. And I said, Clara, if I give you this information, I want you to take it with a grain of salt. It might not be completely accurate. It might be wrong here and there. This is the best I can do because I'm going off his obit. I'm going off his death certificate.
Mm-hmm.
And because everybody in Los Angeles has a part of the guild, so you can find them that way. And if they're not in the old actors' home, then they're there. So unfortunately, he was on the other side. So I told you that, and he handled it very well. And then that night I went to sleep. I thought that was the last I was going to see him. Well, that night I went to sleep, and for about a week, I was missing my friend because I didn't have that contact, And
Right.
Greta was getting creeped about, talking to these older stars and people coming through. And then she was getting kind of afraid. She says, "Now it's ramping up at my house. I don't know."
Oh, wow.
And you gotta cleanse yourself. You gotta ground, and you gotta ask for forgiveness.
Right.
Greta's too prideful. She doesn't do any of that. So, but I do. I do it constantly.
Good.
And Sterling told me about that. You got to do that. Be sure you do that. So I do it. And then there's certain ways to do it, but it all comes down to one: treat them with respect. So
we do have to give some time to Angela, so let's just stop for a second because I got to let her talk as well. But Kate, what kind of questions, if any, do you have? I mean, your story is amazing, Greg, and wow, thank you.
We need to save some for the next show.
I know. Part 1 and 2 and 3. I know.
Part 2.
More than happy to do that.
Okay, that's good.
It is really awesome to have you here and to confirm that Spirit does talk to us. If we're open to listening, and they can help guide us through our lives, they can help heal us. That this resource that's available that you're talking about is available for everyone. It is
for everybody. Yeah,
it isn't a unique situation. It's a beautiful one that you can relay to us. And thank you for sharing part 1, maybe season 1 with us.
Before I told her what had happened, and then I did see her for about a week.
Right.
Then I was deciding what to do after that. And I'll leave you in suspense. That's where the cliffhanger is. I know she's around here somewhere,
Oh, she's here.
What we were hoping to talk about today was being able to access the healing energy that Spirit brings, the healing that can happen in a dream state. And I know that everyone is aware about the types of physical things that happen when you sleep, where your body takes a moment to shut down. And it's almost like in Star Trek where they say, divert the energy over to only essential living, right? We're gonna send the energy over there and let everything else kind of just rest. And that's really what your body is doing when it's resting and sleeping, is it's redirecting all the energy to heal those places, to bring back, to restore, to, revive, to heal. And it's very similar, and bring down the blood pressure. Everything relaxes, everything becomes a lot more calm. And it's very similar to the state that you receive when you're in a meditative state, which a lot of people find very healing as well, because it is a focus, because it is a practice that allows the body to be at rest. And so in your dream state, when you invite your guides and angels to come help you heal, you're putting that intention and that focus into a realm that has such magic involved in it. It has such great energy, soft, beautiful, healing energy. that's available during the dream phase. And so we really wanted to have Angela come on because she's spent a lot of time working with that, developing that, understanding that. So Angela, please jump in and share what you know about healing during the dream state.
Okay, during the dream state, you can really maneuver how this works. There are three components. There's the physical, the emotional, and the conscious, what you know about what's going on with you. But what you can do is set your intention during your dream to focus on a particular spot and focus your mind on that being perfectly healed as you go to sleep. That kind of directs your body to go on that specific illness or injury and to heal it right then and there. You know, it'll put the focus there. Or you can also do in lucid dreaming, you can dream about, say you have a physical injury that's trauma induced, that you got from trauma. What you can do in lucid dreaming is you can revisit that incident but change the script. The script, you turned out fine. Everything's perfect. You got out of the situation totally unscathed. And even when if you can't do lucid dreaming, even when you're setting your intention during a dream, you can make that part of the intention that you got out of it fine. That car wreck didn't hurt you a bit. You weren't scratched. You know, you may have been quite physically damaged during that car wreck, but in your dream, you want to rewrite the script to absolutely nothing happened to you. You're just fine. And that's how you do it. You train your mind, and it does take practice. You can't, you know, some people can do it immediately. Other people, it takes time and practice, you know, effort to get there. But you can set your mind into the intention of, I'm healed, I'm perfect, I'm fine, I'm great. If you set that as you're going to sleep, or in a lucid dream, you just, as the incident comes into your mind, you just change the script. Wow, that turned out good. I can't believe how well I came out of that.
Yeah.
If you have that intention set, or you can jump into that mindset during a dream, you're going to heal yourself because the body's going to pay attention to that spot.
Sure.
Yeah. So I saw this question for Tony. Do you want to jump in, Aley, or do you want me to share
She
what
just
I got?
wants to know her recurrent dreams of the need to hide, maybe from a past life that she had. And I also think that when Craig was talking, some of the things he and Clara were discussing, I believe they had a life together. They must have had, even though it may not have been a close connection. But she's feeling lost and like she can't find her way home. And she did lose her home when her husband died, work-related medical retirement. I'm thinking to myself that it's very difficult because home for us is our safe spot. It is our ability to feel at peace, to relax, to enjoy, you know, that kind of thing. And it would be very upsetting to lose your home because then you've lost, it's almost as though you've lost your connection to anything. Kate, what do you think? What do you think?
The thing that came through for me immediately for Tony was that what was is going to be converted into something brand new. So something unfamiliar is about to birth itself, something new and exciting, where the old can disappear, where the old can be, thank you for that experience, I'm through that experience, and healing the trauma of that experience, allowing to say thank you, because now you're in a different place where something new can take place. And sometimes experiencing or exploring what's new can be a little bit nerve-wracking. It can be a little anxious. And so for me, what happened in my life when the tornado hit was I woke up one morning going, wait a minute, I don't react like this on the first day of vacation. On the first day of vacation, I'm ready to just go and explore and meet people and find out what's going on, and see what I can see, what's new, what oh, look at that, all of that excitement about something new in your life can be as wonderful as the first day of vacation. It's a pivot. It's a shift in your mindset that says, I'm curious, I'm excited, I want to see what's new and how fun that can be and how exciting that can be. So I hope that helps, Tony. I saw that.
Well, she also had another one where she's lost in Montreal, not able to find her way home. So obviously this is the theme that she's dealing with at this point, that she's dealing with, the idea that, she's seeking something to give her some hope and some, and I would love, and she says she's going to use Angela's idea in order for that to heal. That's wonderful.
And maybe take a drive home that's different than before. Just a little bit outside the normal routine. Try something a little bit outside the normal routine and see what sparks. See what suddenly becomes an adventure or fun, because having that recurring one is just your spirit guide saying, it's okay, life is changing, but it doesn't need to be scary. You have support, you have love, you have.
But until she can do that and integrate that, she's going to keep having these, don't you think? These dreams of finding home or getting home.
She can flip the script on the dream.
Flip the script.
True. That's true.
She finds a wonderful new place.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's life can be an incredible adventure. When you want that in your life, when you want that joy back, and you want that peace and that fun and that feeling supported, and when things are uprooted or you feel like stuff is changing so quickly, always come back to what's warm and comforting in your heart. What brings you joy? What brings you, excitement again? Is it dreaming about a vacation? Is it creating a new painting? Is it writing a new song? Is it reading a new book? What is it? What is it that lights your heart up? And that will help you to smooth out the edges that feel really sharp and uncomfortable. So I really appreciate it.
It's a benefit, Tony, that you feel as though you've earned your way through this by feeling stronger, wiser, and more empathic and compassionate. Now you just got to flip it so that you realize also that our home is in here. Yeah, we don't necessarily have to find, out there. That's great.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I had a reoccurring dream when I was younger. It was about being late to school all the time.
Oh, yes.
Late. I know we're late too. I wasn't interested in it really, but I did it. And but I was the oldest in the family. I had to make sure the other ones got to school and were fed and all that. So that was my excuse, kind of. So I would get to school and I'd get chewed out by the priest or whoever had to do the disciplining that day, and then I dealt with it. And I would have this reoccurring dream as I got older, that I was always late for school. And then I wondered what caused that. And then the first day I signed up for my college courses, it all went away.
You hadn't gotten to where you were supposed to be yet. And then, yes, that's happened to me too, Craig. Or I've actually had one where I forgot to drop a class. And I still have that dream. And I think it means that I'm not paying enough attention to what I'm doing, and I'm failing at it. And if I don't do something about it, I will fail. So, yeah.
And I've had this reoccurring dream as well, Terry, with, seeking meaning, reoccurring dreams of being at work and things always going wrong. And she says there, I actually quit in November of last year. So there are patterns within our lives where we're walking through the journey and things aren't working out, and we keep pushing and pushing and pushing to try and make them work for whatever reason it is, for that success label, that that paycheck, that recognition that never comes, the event of trying and trying and trying, when spirit is nudging and saying, come over here. There's something better over here. You've already accomplished what you needed to do in that space, and now we need you over here.
Now it's time to move.
Right. You know,
Because really, a lot of our time when we're younger is spent at a job
yes.
and work, especially men, not necessarily always, and women more so now. But our identity is shaped by that, because the first thing people say after they want to know what your name is what do you do for work?
Yes.
And so that identity has been made important to the outside world. And
That's right.
difficult
And you
to
know,
believe.
you have to pat yourself on the back for saying no to this. I'm not going to do this anymore. I am leaving. I am out of here. Okay. When life says, you know, and you get to the point where you say enough, enough,
Right.
I am done. Okay.
Yeah.
You call back your own power. You call back your own essence so that you can be true to who you are. Okay. And who you are is this star peg trying to fit into a square mold. And it isn't about them right or wrong or them better or worse. That's not the path. And that all that time you're being shown that this isn't where we want you. You are needed somewhere else. We need your light and your skills and your compassion and your empathy somewhere else. Let's move you over here. And, you know, all the best to you. I hope that will bring you some comfort to know that it took courage to walk away and you know, keep going.
Yeah, definitely.
Would,
So, insomniacs who sleep in exhaustion, do their dreams only exist in Yes, Angela. Is that you?
I am an Olympic class insomniac.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Okay, your dreams don't go away because you're exhausted. They can take place at different times. I mean, tiny amounts you sleep, you are going to get dreams and you can work on them there. But also there's that, there's a physical reaction to having no sleep. When you're exhausted, your brain will wander off. Well, you can direct that wandering off to making that dream that you want to dream and build on what you want to build. You just do that during that, I can't do anything right now. And you kind of drift off a little. You're not asleep, but you're not awake. And you just let that happen. And you try to steer that dream. It's more like a daydream, but you can steer that to find, okay, that new house you want, that new job you want. You can steer that to where you get there.
Yeah.
You can even do that with healing.
Right. And you can even ask for the hot tub dream. You know, the one where, you know, where you're like totally relaxed, please. And you know, let them just rest, because they understand that you need this, that your body needs this, that you need that.
Your body needs the rest, so your body's going to do it. Even if you can't sleep, your body's still going to do the rest.
That's right.
It'll make you sit down.
And all you have to do is ask. You know, the asking is really important because of people. You have to ask.
That's true. They don't just assume we know. Yeah.
Exactly.
I've woken up before with my hands like on the sheets, like this, you know, and I'm like, what the hell? And my hands hurt. And I, you know, and I know that it's something, I don't know if it was anxiety from something in the dream or if I was just so tired that it was like I was trying to sleep, grab onto sleep, you know.
I've had dreams where I'm being attacked, like I'm running and I'm being attacked, right? And it's like, oh my gosh! And at one point, I said to myself before I went to sleep, if they're coming to get me tonight, I am fighting back, right? And that's what I said in my head before I went to sleep.
Okay.
And sure enough, my husband screams and says, "Why are you beating me up?" I am physically hitting him.
Oh wow!
Right, I am physically hitting him. And the dream never came back. But it was one of those things where it was like, I'm so sorry, because it was so real and because I needed to build the kind of strength that said, no, you are not going to do that to me. Right. And for some people, it's really hard to build up into that. No, enough. Here's the line in the sand. You are not crossing that boundary. And for me, it was, you know, duking it out in the dream. Poor guy. He's wonderful. He's fine. I didn't hurt him. But he was a little shook up about why I would try to beat him up in the middle of the night.
Sure.
So,
Angela, what did you want to say?
Kate, there's a way you can fix that.
Oh.
In that dream, when somebody's chasing you, turn around,
Yeah.
look them in the face and say, you have no power here. Go away. They don't have power in your dreams. If
Absolutely.
you can get that through your head and remember it while you're sleeping, then you can just turn around and say, you have no power here. Go away.
Go away.
That's
And
right.
it is so true. And it was a long time ago that it happened.
And that's what you have to do, Craig, with that ex-girlfriend.
Well, I have, like you said,
Yeah.
just go ahead and do the cutting ceremonies. And,
Right.
and,
Yep.
I told them what I was going to do when I did it, and
Uh-huh.
it seemed to work, And then I got another
That's good.
message a couple nights later, and
Uh-huh.
same thing. I said, "You're not allowed here.
You're not allowed here. Yeah.
That's all in the past, and you need to move on."
Uh-huh.
Because one medium told me, "You fulfilled your soul agreement with her. You don't need to do
Uh-huh.
that." So
Yeah.
Awesome.
like,
Yeah. It sounds like it, doesn't it? Yeah.
and I know that Clara wouldn't like me going back to that girl either.
Right.
She'd probably kick me in the
Absolutely.
butt, But
Yeah.
there's some funny times too. I mean, after Clara got her answers, and I'll cover that in the second part, was Clara came to me and talked, and we'll discuss those. Those are really
Okay.
good things, and there were funny moments too. I mean, I'd be asleep, and then because I said, "Are you around here at nighttime?" She goes, "Right after you doze off, I go back and go to school."
There you go.
It's
Yeah. Sure.
I keep a
Back
line to
to
you.
school.
Right.
Right.
I keep a line to you because in case something happens and, like you get bothered or something like that, a bad dream, I have to wake you up. So
Uh-huh.
that's what happened. And that has happened. And she
Hmm.
goes, "Craig, I want you to do a favor for me." And I go, "Yes, sir. What can I do for you?" And she says, "Take a gas pill before you go to bed at night."
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right, sweetheart, I'll do that. I didn't
Okay.
that, And then she goes, "No, just, okay.
That's funny.
And
That's
then one time we were out at a Mexican restaurant. We were having something to eat, and I came out. It was cold. It was probably about November. And this pretty girl, she came out, and she was wearing this beautiful dress. It was blue and white. And she was fairly shapely, and she walked right by me. And it was wintertime, and we were all bundled up in black coats and gray coats, so there was no color. Everything was kind of drab. And she walked by, and she was showing herself off. She was dressed like this. And my cousin and I watched her pass by, and I kind of stepped aside and let her go by. And then I made the mistake of my eyes kept following her. She walked away, and I go, "That was nice," I thought. And I turned around and went back to my cousin, and then we got in the car, and then Charlie goes, "I saw you looking at that girl." Oh, so yeah, she
I can't do anything.
can't do
That's
anything.
funny.
I go, "Clara, I am a guy. I am a guy, so you know that. And then
Yeah.
she-
There was a
Yeah.
question. Sorry, there was a question from Pure Visionary. Did you see that one, Aley?
I did. I'm trying to go back to it. Angela, do you have an example of a healing dream that you'd like to share? Maybe you don't. I don't know. But if you do, go ahead and do that.
I've got one that's similar to Allie's dream
Okay.
when she was fighting her husband in her sleep.
Yeah.
I used to wake up punching walls.
Ah.
I'd get up in my sleep and I'd be punching walls. And that's what brought me to the part where I changed the script. So I could save my knuckles,
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep. Awesome.
There it is.
Oh, it's about children, isn't it? She dreams
Yeah.
she has to save children all the time.
Yeah, it
Yes.
just popped up again.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. There are a lot of people who are not advocates for children, and if you have to, I'm thinking it's definitely a past life thing too. It could be she was in a war
It
zone,
could
maybe
be.
she was a nurse. Yeah.
It could be past life or it could be an astral travel.
Oh, yes.
Seriously.
That's true. Yes.
See, because I've been pulled to Ukraine a lot lately.
Okay.
I end up doing, astral travel to Ukraine, and I've done something very similar. In one instance, I had to go into a building that had been bombed, and it was unsafe for anybody in corporeal form to go in there. And I went and searched the place, and I found no victims, so it had to have been empty when it was shelled.
Sure.
But I was able to let them know that without them having to risk their lives. And you can do those kind of things in your astral travel. Now, if you're getting tired from doing this over and over again, you could simply tell your guides, look, I'm taking the night off. I'm tired. Let me rest.
Really?
Yes, because it was wearing me out.
Oh, sure. Talk about exhaustion. Yeah.
During the time when Clara would come through too, we were busy answering questions for her. She was answering questions for me, and I got to talk to her pretty well. But it was tiring me out. It really tired me out. I didn't know
you had to sleep
until she left for that week. And when she left, another actor came in and kind of filled in for her for a little while to kind of keep an eye on me. His name was Jack Kelly. He was an actor in the 50s. And he played Maverick in the 50s, him and James Garner. And we're talking about the old Warner Brother days. So that's kind of, he came by and just kind of kept an eye on me for a little while Clara went and visited with her son, because now she knew where he was to reestablish that. Then she came down and told me the rest of it, what had happened and stuff like that. And she goes, you know what, Craig? I also found out I'm his grandmother. And it's wonderful, doesn't it? That your grandparent, isn't it? And she goes, yeah. You know how you feel. I go, well, I know how you feel too, sweetie. I'm glad I was able to get out in my own little way. And if that's what I was put here to do on Earth, no problem. I got no problem with that. I'm more than happy to help anybody out on the other side, or here connect with them. If I can do it. And so that's where I'm coming from on that. And there were 3 good dreams that came later on after I talked to Sterling. But during that time when I was busy, and we were answering questions back and forth and stuff like that, I got sick. My blood pressure went way up to 180 over 100, and I'm only like, it's normally 120 over 80. And I got really sick. I didn't know what it was, so I went up to the VA, and they didn't know either. They sent me home. And they said, stop all this, stop all that. I got home, and I was kind of great. I was really freaked out. I go, well, my cousin told me if I was going to ride home with you and make sure you get home okay. She doesn't want you going on the freeway.
Right.
Drive 35 and get home. So I did. And when I got home, I just said, well, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm kind of afraid. So I went to bed that night, and I was kind of upset and this and that. But it took a while to, get myself well again. I had to go back out and walk. I had to go take care of myself. I had to eat right. And when I wouldn't eat right, she would turn the kitchen light on, and meaning go in there and eat something, go in there, cook something,
Wow.
She would turn on various lights here in the house too, letting me know that she was here. And I guess that's a brick hit me in the head, because I can't pick up on subtleties sometimes.
Right.
Wait, sometimes you want a billboard, right?
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
So, yes, thank you. So, Angela, how would you say that if somebody wanted to do that, are you just opening yourself up to go where the healing is needed before you go to bed at night?
No, it's basically my guides just send me off.
Angela, you have a really good relationship with your guides and angels too. So practice small steps with understanding that your support and your guides are with you. Before leaping across the universe to assist. And it's such a beautiful thing to be able to assist, to be able to have that kind of heart that wants to go help. It's such a beautiful thing. And so if that is something that you're intrigued with or something that you would like to learn more about, maybe we should do a show and explain how those steps would take place so that you would feel comfort and not frightened when trying to do it.
Exactly.
Don't try to do it without protection, without your guides and angels. So.
And Tracy Ralph, the answer is yes.
You are astral. You can go out there and sort of float around in the world. You just want to make sure before you go to bed that you ask for protection. I was actually told during a Reiki session that I picked up a few people out there in the ethers, and I had to be cleansed of that. And I thought I hadn't even thought about that. So that's an important component, I think.
Right. Our astro travel dreams have been really, really fun. The opening of the Eiffel Tower in the 1800s and playing in the aurora borealis and sliding down the colors, and so there is a lot of really fun things you can do
Yep.
in that dream state, and especially being connected with people that you really trust and enjoy, and you figure out a way to identify that that's who they are. If she's stuffing marshmallows into her pockets, we probably have a hint as who that might be. But it all comes with the preparation and the trust and the understanding that what's really happening,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's beautiful. It's really
There's just so many different layers of our dream state, and our connection with other spirits, our daydreams, our hopes and visions that we have, and there is such a connection that's there for all of us if we just open ourselves up to it, with protection, of course.
It's really so beautiful. I mean,
It is.
just the awareness of being open to continuing the conversation and allowing the conversation to take place.
Right.
For Craig, it was understanding that that's really what he's hearing, and that really is who he's talking to.
Who he's talking to. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is that having the courage to go, okay, I'm going to go with this. And
Right.
it was peaceful, it was loving, it was gentle, it wasn't frightening.
He wasn't asking you to do anything you didn't want to do, and that's very good. Yeah.
There was one part that I was kind of afraid of, and it was nothing spiritual. It was legal, because Clara asked me what happened to her sons, and I told them one's on the other side, and then the second one, she goes, "What about Georgie?" And I said, "He's still alive, but if I approach him, I don't know, because I'm a minority, and I know how older.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Come on, something like this. They don't want to hear stuff like that from a minority, and they don't want to hear it from a woman.
Well, no, and it's for some people it'd be just too strange, like that don't believe in any of that. Yeah.
And I said, "You know what, Clara? I think your other son can lead you back to him, and then soon, he's in his 80s now, about 85. He'll be there soon, and it'll work out after that."
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of handled it at the end there.
Good for you.
But,
Good for you. You knew your boundary. You had to know what your boundary was.
Yeah. I'm learning. It took me a while though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Awesome.
I said, I just don't want somebody calling me up from your family, telling me, you're looking into our family, you're trying to hurt them, And
I know. You're stalking them.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't want that.
Yeah.
And then I didn't want, they're in her family, they're all professionals, they're dentists and they're lawyers. So they can come up with about 15.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you got to be careful. Definitely. Yep.
Yeah, so I told her that too. She goes, "I understand. I'll be by your side in case anything happens."
Awesome. So, Tony, I think it's great you've astral traveled to all those places. And yes, I'm sure you could probably go even further out. And you have this invisible silver cord, I think. Isn't that right, Angela?
That's what it sounds like, yes.
Yeah, that's attached and allows you to sort of go out there like the space guys when they did a spacewalk. You're doing that kind of work. Yeah.
Yep, the cord. Yeah.
Excellent.
Protection one.
Yeah.
No, when I did have a dream about when I was, kind of missing everything that had built up to that time, and then it was about a month or so. Then I got a dream from Clara saying where she was. She showed me her house, and I was there for a good. Oh, but my time on this side, it was about 1:30 when it dozed off, and probably about 3:30 when it woke up. But over there, it felt like 30 minutes, 30, 45 minutes or so.
Sure.
And I could tell you more about that in the next show, but I'll a little bit about it. And
we hooked another one.
That's great. Yeah.
It felt like California, Vegas, and the desert. That's where it felt like. And it was a small house. I walked in there, and it was an entryway, black tile floor. It looked like Chateau Marmont in Los Angeles.
There you go.
The dining hall. You know how it has black tile in there and dark tile, and the older style arches inside there and all that. And that's what it looked like in the entryway. And then I went into the second room. It was, you stepped down, and it was tan carpet. And I went in there, and I saw two chairs, and they were overstuffed brown chairs, and they were real comfortable. And I just sat on that first one, and her son was he was in front of me, but he showed himself as a 75-year-old man. How he looked when he passed, and I looked at him, and he was very welcoming. He was very nice, and he was very thankful. for, letting him touch with his mom.
Mhm.
And I said, I appreciate it, sir, but I'm really, really tired. It's like I have the worst case of jet lag. But we were talking, we were talking about like in our heads, not verbally like I am to you guys. But he says, I understand. Go ahead and lie down. So I got up. Instead of just getting up, I glided up, and that's how you walk. You take a step, you glide.
Yeah.
And
Isn't that a cool feeling? Yeah. That's
awesome.
it's summertime in the dream, like about 2:30 in the afternoon. It was winter here. So I looked outside and it was like 2:30 in the afternoon. That's what it looked like. And I saw a sofa bed right by those two chairs. And then a TV, wood paneling like oak and books and knickknacks on the wall and stuff like that were obviously hers. Nothing Hollywood related though.
right.
And then I saw a sofa bed right there rolled out, and there were 3 pillows, and then a sheet that was like cream colored with little green flowers on it.
Wow, you got really images. Yeah.
On the wall there was a flat screen TV,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
flat screen TV there was like a screensaver moving around like a lava lamp like that, and the colors were pink, green, and orange, and they were kind of moving around
Cool.
kind of funky. Cool. And then I settled myself down on the bed, and I was out for like about a short
like a light.
15 minutes. And then when I woke up, I looked over at my side, and in the sofa bed, you could fit 3 people, which is kind of odd. But when I got up, I looked over and I saw a pair of legs there, and the drink was in color, but the legs were in black and white. And I go, I know who that is. And I was about to go over there and tickle her foot because she's done that to me 100 times in my sleep, And I was about to, but I go, no, I don't. So I got up and I go, nice legs. I know who that is. So I got up and then I go, I don't mean to be rude, but it's time for me to go. So I stepped out of that house and went back into the entryway and went out to the front door. I came out and I looked around. It would look like a desert area. And when I came out, I saw a partition and a duplicate type house right next to it, like houses are today. You have a duplicate house right next to it, and but flipped, floor plan. So I went there and I went up to the door and I pressed on the door like that. I took a couple steps toward it and I pressed on the door and I said, "Mom," like that. And just as I tried to touch the door, I woke up.
Weren't ready for it, Craig. You weren't ready for it. Yeah.
And,
Wow. Well, I'm sorry we got to wind up today. I want to thank everybody for being here in the chat. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you, Angela, for your information about how to change to healing dreams. Thank you, Craig, for part 1 of your amazing story with Clara. And Kate, of course, thank you, dear, for all you do.
Oh, thanks, Aley. Thanks, you guys. It's been great. It's a great time. I love continuing the conversation. And always remember that have sweet dreams.
Have sweet dreams. That's right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Sweet dreams. Sweet dreams.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day.